accept the nomination. I, Akim Femi Gbajabiamila, God bless you all.
A warm welcome to this edition of House Ticket, your weekly window into the activities of your elected representatives sitting in the green chambers of the National Assembly in the nation's capital city, Abuja. My name is Rashida Abubakar, standing in for your regular anchor. It's good to be with you. This episode of the program reviews plenary of Tuesday 25th to Thursday 27th of January 2022, with bills and motion of urgent national importance debated. From the committee rooms, Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila restated the commitment of the Ninth House to helping the Nigerian youth reach their full potentials. Details of this report coming up after a short break. Do stay tuned.
We set our minds right, embrace each other in love and brotherhood. We will come through these troubling times. We will survive, we will recover, and then we will thrive. One nation under God, free, peaceful, and prosperous.
House Ticket starts with the report of the consideration of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill by the Ninth House. Upon resumption of plenary proceedings for the week, the House immediately went into an executive session to discuss the matter. For details of what transpired after the executive session, as well as reports on other bills and motions, let us take this report compiled and presented from our studio.
When the House returned to plenary after the executive session, Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila made this pronouncement on the amendment of the Electoral Act.
I think we need to speedily address our electoral law and pass it today and send it to the executive for assent. You will recall that this House last week, as soon as we returned, looked into the complaints and added the provision of indirect primaries to our law. Unfortunately, on the other side, the Senate added both indirect and consensus, which necessitated the possible need for a conference committee of both houses. The leadership of the House met yesterday and the Senate, and in the interest of speedy passage, and also to deepen our democracy, I think the House and the Senate have decided to add, I believe, the consensus provision so that there will be no need for conference, but with certain provisos.
To do this, the House then dissolved into the Committee of the Whole. At the committee chaired by the Speaker, the House harmonized its Electoral Act Amendment Bill with that of the Senate by adopting the consensus option for the nomination of candidates to take part in elections.
Shall be by direct, indirect primaries, or consensus. Carried.
On the consensus option, the bill stipulates that a political party that adopts a consensus candidate shall secure the written consent of all cleared aspirants to the position, indicating their voluntary withdrawal from the race and their endorsement of the consensus candidate. Where a political party is unable to secure the written consent of all cleared aspirants for the purpose of a consensus candidate, it shall revert to the choice of direct or indirect primaries for nomination of candidates, and a special convention or nomination congress shall be held to ratify the choice of a consensus candidate at designated centers at the national, state, senatorial, federal and state constituencies, as the case may be.
Mr. Speaker, I believe every one of us will be glad to be associated with this process. At least we are providing a brand new legislative framework that will coordinate and guide our electoral process in the country, keeping to mind the overall interest of my people and, of course, the best, international best way of doing things as far as elections is concerned.
When the House reverted to plenary, progress at the Committee of the Whole was reported and the amended electoral bill passed.
Be adopted.
Ayes have it.
Still on the same day, 11 bills were taken for first reading, 2 bills for second reading, and 3 bills for third reading. The bills that passed second reading are a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal Medical Center Owutu Eda, Ebonyi State, and for related matters, and a bill for an act to establish Abuja Environmental Protection Board for the protection, regulation, management, monitoring and control of all forms of environmental degradation and enforcement of standards and guidelines on prohibition of pollution and promotion of cooperation on environmental science and technologies in the Federal Capital Territory and for related matters.
Territory and for related matters be read the second time. I so move.
Both bills have been referred to the relevant committees for further work. The bills that passed third reading are a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the National Institute for Border Studies in Meko, Ogun State, to provide for teaching, research, instruction and training of students in border management and for related matters. A bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Meteorological Agency Act 2003 and enact the Nigerian Meteorological Agency Bill to provide for the regulation of meteorology and for related matters. And a bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology Act 2004 and enact the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology Bill to provide for its organization, council and operations and for related matters. On motions, the House received 2 motions of urgent public importance from Representative Aishatu Jibril Duku and Bath Nnaji, as well as a petition from Representative Samuel Godday.
My motion on urgent need to call on the Nigeria Police to dismantle the police checkpoint at Hashidu Junction in Duku local government area of Gombe State. Note that a trigger-happy police officer has shot a tanker driver over a disagreement at a checkpoint at Hashidu Junction along Darazo Duku Gombe Road on 17 January 2022. Note that the reckless action of the policeman, which violates the norms of the force, resulted to blockage of the road in protest for several hours, causing commotion on the busy road linking Gombe and Bauchi states through Darazo and to the north and to other northwestern states. Concerned that the shooting of the truck driver by the errant policeman was barbaric, gruesome, unwarranted, condemnable, and an affront on the constitutional rights of citizens to life and freedom of movement. Also concerned that the attitude and behavior of most of the police officers at police checkpoints calls for serious concern, worry, and attention due to harassment, assault, and dehumanization of commuters that generate distrust and ill feelings against them.
Aisha, your motion was that it was very urgent that the Nigerian police dismantle the checkpoint at Hashidu Junction, and you've given the reasons why. Yeah, that it needs to be dismantled right now. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk, please communicate the resolution to the IG of Police.
Mr. Speaker, the House notes that on the 13th of January 2022, gruesome murder and attempted murder were committed against my constituent, Mrs. Chidima Benita Anyebunamni Okwibe, and her mother, Mrs. Monica Okwibe, from Ozala Autonomous Community, Nukanu West Local Government of Enugu State.
This is an act of criminality. Obosi as a town should not be known as a community of violent and aggressive people. This is a murderous act by some individuals, and I've spoken to Honorable Nat'l. We've decided on what to do. We decided to meet the IG of Police to investigate the matter. As I speak to you, 2 of the culprits have been arrested.
My petition is on the case of extrajudicial killing of one Mr. Shedrack Ochoche at Mabushi Police Division, FCT Command Abuja. Please find attached for your kind attentions and information on the petition against the perpetrators of the extrajudicial killings of Mr. Shedrack Ochoche, a citizen of Ogbalo in Agatu local government of Benue State.
Plenary proceedings for Wednesday, the 26th of January 2022 began with the Speaker, Representative Femi Gbajabiamila, constituting two ad hoc committees. They are the 14-man committee chaired by Representative Abdullahi Ningi to determine the daily consumption of fuel in Nigeria, and the 15-man committee headed by Representative Johnson Oguma will carry out investigation on the state of refineries in Nigeria. The Speaker said, before the House addresses the issue of fuel subsidies on petrol, it will first conduct the necessary investigations.
And in doing their work, they should not restrict themselves to the NNPC or figures by the NNPC being an interested party, of course. And they should go far and wide and talk to experts, talk to labor, talk to national and international experts and those who will know. Talk to the motor vehicle registration centers. We just need to determine how much petrol we consume. The second is to look into the refineries and the state of repair or disrepair, and determine what is needed or what will be needed to bring our refineries back to life again.
The committees have 4 weeks to submit their reports. Representative Julius Ihombere then raised a matter of urgent public importance on the resurgence of military coups in the West African sub-region.
In the last 2-3 years, there have been not less than 10 attempted coups in the West African sub-region. These attempts, even successful ones, clearly go against the current norms in the international system. What we're trying to achieve with this motion, Mr. Speaker, is that we do not want this culture to continue.
The lawmakers contributed in support of the motion.
I am also in tune with the prayers of that motion. It's in order. We should at all times condemn undemocratic means used to take over power wherever it happens. Having said that, I also want to use this opportunity of what has happened in that country to caution against despotic leaders. I want to call on the ECOWAS to come up with every necessary sanction and use everything within their power to see that these countries that have found themselves in this recent coup are brought back to civilian rule with immediate effect. I want to say that this is a time that calls for the role that Nigeria has been playing in the West African sub-region, the role that Nigeria has played in stabilizing democracy in the sub-region. We are aware of the role of Nigeria in Liberia in time past, and again, we are aware of the role of Nigeria presently. Permit me to say that we appreciate this present government, appreciate President Muhammadu Buhari and the entire government for trying to continue to play that role in making sure that democracy in the sub-region is stabilized.
The worst form of democracy is far better than a benevolent dictatorship. So as such, we should always strive to jealously guard and protect our hard-earned democracy.
While we are against military coup, it is now time for our leaders to live up to expectation. It is now time for our leaders to ensure that the people that they lead, that they are giving the effective, good governance that will mitigate against them having any bad feelings.
The House then recommended the imposition of sanctions against countries where such undemocratic means had been used to upstage a government. Still on motions, Representative Dachumbagos moved a motion on the need to investigate unclaimed funds in Nigerian commercial banks and the infractions by the Central Bank of Nigeria.
The House notes that the bank verification number BVN was introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria in 2014 to the Nigerian banking system as a way of checking and combating money laundering, illicit financing, and duplicitous ownership of bank accounts used for fraud. Also notes that about 7 years after the introduction of the BVN into the Nigerian banking system, about 45.85 million bank accounts across Nigeria are yet to be linked to BVN as data released by the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System.
Being investigative in nature, the motion wasn't debated. The House thereby resolved to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate the suspicious and unclaimed funds sitting in commercial banks, mandate the committee to also investigate the unremitted funds collected on behalf of agencies and departments of the federal government by commercial banks. Also, mandate the committee to look into the several infractions by the Central Bank of Nigeria against the provisions of the enabling laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. On his part, Representative Babajide Benson moved a motion on the need to increase funding for innovation and technology in tertiary institutions in Nigeria.
The House notes that the Faculty of Engineering, University of Nigeria, Nsukka, recently unveiled its first 5-seater electric car, christened Lion Ozumba 551. The House also notes that the car, which is said to be part of the drive to accord innovation and technology attention in the institution, was made with 80% locally sourced materials and can cover a 30-kilometer distance when fully charged.
The motion was adopted and the House resolved to urge the federal government to adequately fund institutions involved in research in the production of electric and solar cars. Also, urge the National Automotive Design and Development Council to design a workable plan on how to produce electric cars in commercial quantities in Nigeria using homegrown human capital. The Committees on Tertiary Education and Services, Land Transport, Environment and Science and Technology were also mandated to engage stakeholders to design a 10-year plan to improve research capabilities in Nigeria's tertiary institutions with intent to improve the automobile industry. On bills that Wednesday, 4 bills carried second reading at the Green Chamber.
A bill for an act to establish Federal Road Safety Commission Academies as a degree-awarding institution to provide academic and professional training and for related matters be read this second time.
I rise, Mr. Speaker, to move that a bill for an act to establish the Federal Medical Center logo in Kano State and for related matters, HB 1606, be read the second time.
Meanwhile, the House received a report from the Committee on Science and Technology. It was on the bill for an act to establish the National Institute of Oil and Gas Technology and Entrepreneurial Studies, Egbema, Imo State. The report was submitted by Representative Benila. Representative Leke Abejide also presented a report on the Committee on Customs and Excise before the 9th House. It was on the investigative hearing on the unrest at Isheyin local government area of Oyo State due to the killing of indigents by the men of the Nigerian Customs Service. On a sad note, the House observed a minute's silence in honor of the father of Representative Gudaji Kazaure, Alhaji Muhammad Gudaji, who died on Friday the 21st of January 2022 after a brief illness.
Welcome back from that time out. Earlier on the program, we reviewed plenary of Tuesday 25th to Thursday, 27 January, the high point of which was the passage of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. In our next segment, we shall take committee reports starting with the Committee on Youth Affairs, where a one-day public hearing on the establishment of the National Youth Development Commission was held. Let's get that report.
Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of
The public hearing organized by the Committee on Youth took place on Thursday, the 27th of January 2022 at the National Assembly Complex. While declaring the hearing open, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Representative Femi Gbajabiamila, said the lawmakers will continue to support Nigerian youth towards realizing their potentials. The Speaker added that all hands must be on deck to address the challenges facing Nigeria. The committee chairman, Representative Yemi Adaramodu, represented by Onofiok Luke, set the ball rolling.
We subject every of our proposals in bills to public scrutiny for them to cross the T's, dot the I's, because we don't have monopoly of knowledge. And so in recognizing that, we seek input from experts, from practitioners in the field who can help make our legislation better.
Stakeholders at the hearing took turns to make their positions known on the bill.
The Ministry, after careful perusal of the provisions of the bill, observed that the proposed bill, if passed into law, as presently formulated, would automatically take away the functions and responsibilities of at least 3 departments in the ministry. These departments are as follows: Network and Social Mobilization Department, Education and Youth Development Department, and 3, Enterprises Development and Promotion Department. This Honorable House is invited to note that the statutory functions of the concerned departments of the ministry and some aspects of the responsibilities of the National Youth Service Corps are basically the same as provided in Section 2, subsection 1, 3, and 4 of the draft proposed Commission Bill. The implication of this is that there would be duplication of functions and responsibilities of these departments, as well as substantial functions of the NYSC, if the bill is eventually passed into law.
The bill is a very welcome development in the sense that it seeks to establish for the National Youth Development Commission to promote the coordination of youth development in Nigeria. Even though there are several ministries, departments, and agencies that are committed to youth development, like the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, the National Youth Service, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, and the National Directorate of Employment, NDE, and so many others. There is still a huge gap in catering to the needs of the teeming population of the youth in Nigeria.
The committee is expected to take the next legislative action after the hearing. Still on committee reports, the Special Ad hoc Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution has commenced consideration of the clauses to be amended in the Constitution. Representative Ahmad Idris Wasi heads the committee.
Now here into 170. Clause 3.
We shall keep you posted with developments at the Constitution Review Committee as events unfold. For now, we draw the curtains on the program. Do send in questions and comments for your elected representatives and catch up on previous episodes of the program on any of our social media platforms. Stay safe and bye for now.